Hey, y'all, it's me, Amanda, back with part two of my story. My lover tried to destroy my life. Yeah, I know everybody saw the end of part one, where me and Anthony started fighting. I'm not proud of how I behaved that day. I was so embarrassed and humiliated. Okay, so I threw a drink at him first, and that was wrong. Even though he kept harassing me and nitpicking at me, he just wouldn't stop. But for him to attack me? I couldn't believe it. After the fight, I went back to the vacation rental alone. I was so mad I couldn't sit still. I ranted to myself for the rest of the night, then passed out from exhaustion. Anthony didn't get in till 5 in the morning. I was so pissed off I couldn't even look at him. He starts apologizing and going on about how he didn't mean all the stuff he said and how he wanted to make things right. Now, I know I was being stupid, really stupid. It should have been over and done with. No apologies, no comebacks. But I was weak. He was so perfect. When things were good between us, it was the best relationship I'd ever had. He was like a dream come true. He was a great cook, super sexy, and very intelligent. I know many women who would have forgave him. I won't beat myself up and let y'all judge me when most of y'all have played the fool. We went to couples counseling, and it didn't go very well. We ended up in an argument right in the session. I really felt like giving up on him, but one look at his beautiful face and I would change my mind. If only I could convince him, help him to be more confident in our love. My mom invited Anthony and me out for dinner. She was excited to meet the guy her daughter was so in love with. I hadn't told her about the fight. Matter of fact, I hadn't told anyone about the fight. It was too embarrassing, and I didn't feel like hearing about what I needed to do about it. At that moment, I wanted it to work between me and Anthony. We all ended up having a fun night. Anthony had been on his best behavior since I agreed to work it out with him. My mom really liked him, and that made me happy. I hoped my dad was looking down from heaven, proudly at his only daughter. If he knew the truth, though, I know my dad would have tried to fight Anthony in real life. Either way, I had made up with him, and it had been going well for a while. He bought me a puppy for my birthday. She was the cutest little ball of fur I'd ever seen. I named her Sugar Cookie because I could just eat her with a spoon. We were really getting closer to each other, and it felt good. Fast forward to a couple of months later, and things started getting weird. Anthony would come over and cook dinner for me. Then we would have drinks and watch movies. It seemed like every time he spent the night, I would wake up really out of it the next morning. My mouth would be really dry, and I would have a severe headache. It seemed like I was so out of it I could barely get out of bed. I kind of shrugged it off as too much liquor the night before. It was around this time that the weird phone calls started. Someone had been calling and hanging up, or laughing and then hanging up. It was a woman's voice, but they never spoke. They just giggled and hung up. I mentioned it to Anthony, but he said it was probably some kids playing pranks. One day, I opened the Social Bunny app to check my timeline when I saw a message from someone I didn't know. She said that she was Anthony's baby mother, that he had a son that he didn't take care of, that he sold drugs and did a lot of bad stuff to girls in the past. She said he got her hooked on drugs and ruined her life. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My heart was beating fast. My hands were shaking. Could this be true? I didn't want to believe any of it, but my gut was telling me that I should at least investigate. She gave me her number and said, when I'm ready to wake up from my dream, give her a call. I confronted Anthony with what she had said. He was surprisingly calm about it. He said that he was expecting this to happen. It was his ex-girlfriend, Bree. She was bitter that he left her, and that baby isn't his. He got a paternity test to prove it. I sat in confusion, not knowing what or who to believe. Meanwhile, it seemed like my whole life was getting out of control. My mom had started making it a habit of popping by unannounced, and she was starting to get way too comfortable, offering unsolicited advice on my relationship. Someone was leaving bad reviews on my business website, claiming rude customer service and dirty bathrooms. And to top all of that off, someone vandalized my new art studio. I had just bought a new store in a better location, and now I was being vandalized. When it rains, it pours. But for me, I was about to have a tsunami hit my life. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time for part 3.